All right, everyone. Well, we're going to get started tonight. We'll get this rolling here. Thanks, everyone, for joining us tonight as we do our 36th annual Bay Lakes Council Scouting for Food unit coordinator meeting. I know we've got a lot of folks here kind of that have been in the background on our planning committee that have been putting in a lot of work. We're really excited for this year's food drive. And we just want to make sure that your unit is prepared for the food drive and it's successful for everybody, because we know it's such a big deal in our community. There's a lot of people that are in need of this food, and we really want to support our pantries and do what we can. It's really the whole spirit behind scouting, right? That way we can give back and help our fellow man. So let's jump into this tonight. Here we're going to give you just a quick rundown of what we'll be covering. We're going to do some quick introductions, introduce you to our planning team, share with you our sponsors, talk about ways you guys can participate, talk about specifically what we expect out of our unit coordinator, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the marketing and promotions we've been doing as a council to get the word out. We'll talk a little bit about distribution day. We'll talk a little bit about collection day, reporting, and just share with some resources that we have available for you guys. So before we get into it, I know everyone's going to have questions, and that's fine. We're not going to wait till the end. What I'm going to ask you to do is message Tammy Thorough directly in the chat. So she's our staff person. She's our district executive in Ledge to Lakes districts of the Fond du Lac and surrounding communities. But if you have a question that's burning you, go ahead. Like I said, message Tammy. She's going to moderate that, and we'll address those questions as we go. All right. All right, let's get on to the introductions. I just want to walk through really quick who are going to be the contact people in each of our districts within the council. We'll start up north, our folks in the Hiawatha Land District. So that's going to be the majority of the UP up there. We have Elrico Hurley. He's going to be our lead district scouting for food chair up there. And then Patrick O'Brien, he is our staff person up there. So if you are up in that neck of the woods, those are going to be your local contacts for all the local details of the food drive. All right, moving down, Northern Lights District. We have our Scouting for Food volunteer chair there, Michael Hollander. And then we have our district executive up there, Josh Sampson. So you guys have some contact information, email addresses if you need to reach out to them about anything going on in Langlade, Marinette, and Oconto counties. All right, Voyager District. So this is covering Brown, Dorr, and Kewaunee. We have Craig Robbins, Executive Director over at Paul's Pantry in Green Bay. So you got his email there. He's our volunteer lead. And then we have Dan Connolly. He's the District Executive there in the Voyager District. Gathering Waters Districts. We got Calumet, Outagamie, Shawano, Wapaka, and Winnebago counties. We have Tom Wolfert. He's our volunteer Scouting for Food chair there. And then Jason Splinter, our senior district executive, serving that district. So those are your two contacts in Gathering Waters. All right, Twin Lakes, we have our two co-chairs. We have Carol and Jeff Faust. So that's Wapaka, Waushara, and Winnebago counties. Ledge to Lakes District, we have our district executive, Tammy Thorough. So if you're a unit out in Fond du Lac, Green Lake, or Marquette counties, Tammy is going to be your lead contact out there. And don't worry, guys, don't feel like you have to write this down. We will be sharing this this PowerPoint after the fact, this presentation, so you'll have these contacts as well. All right, moving down, we have the Lakeshore District, so Manitowoc, Sheboygan, and Calumet counties. We've got a couple volunteers here and one staff person. So Christy Knauer, if you are in Manitowoc, the city of Manitowoc, she's going to be helping you out there. Jen Ray, she's going to be your lead volunteer if you are in the city of Sheboygan. Adrian Burdette, Two Rivers area, and then Sally Bork is our senior district executive as well. So get some contact info for those folks. And then finally, Kettle Country District. So we have Washington, Dodge, and Ozaki counties. Jeff Egan, he's our district executive down there. So he's going to be your point of contact for the local details there. All right, let's keep rolling. I just want to give a big shout out to our sponsors this year. These are the folks that are the businesses and organizations that have funded the food drive and really make it possible. So like I said, we don't charge any fees to participate, so we're not generating revenue, but we still have some costs for different marketing materials, for our bags and things like that. We have these great partners that have helped us out to make that happen this year. So we have Festival Foods, Fox 11, the Timber Rattlers Foundation, WIXX 101.1, and the Chilton Area Community Foundation. So a big shout out to those groups. All right, let's get into this. So the ways to participate. Now, many of you have been involved with this in the past, so you're familiar. For folks that are new, we have basically two options for your pack, troop, crew, ship, post to participate. Option one, you would sign up to canvass an area in your community, and we're going to have the Scouting for Food bags. Your units would distribute those in your area, and you would return that next weekend on April 27th and collect the food. And then you would bring it to your pantry or your collection site in your community. I know a lot of units will work together on this type of effort. I've seen a lot of setups where the Cub Scout pack in town will be the ones that go and put the bags out that first Saturday. And then the troop will come in, or a group of older scouts will come in that following weekend and actually, collect the food donations and get those to the pantry. But then again, I've also seen packs that do it all. I've seen troops that do it all. So that's an option one. Option two, this one, I know there's a number of units that have done this in the past, but you work with a local grocery store in your community and you set up at their storefront and you solicit donations directly from the shoppers that day that you were there. Now, we have a number of stores that we're working with, and those district people that we just went through on the slides, the previous slides, they'll have those stores for you in your specific area. But we do have 15 Festival Food stores within our council that are willing to have us on site, to have scouts there soliciting and collecting food. Now, for other grocery stores, you would have to contact their store manager and get approval if you were going to do that. I know some packs and troops reach out directly to a local store and they handle it on their own. The Festival Food Partnership has been taken care of at the council level, so we have that green light already, and they're supportive. That's why they're one of our key sponsors. So our unit Scouting for Food description. So that's you folks that are on the call tonight. I'm guessing the majority of you are coordinating this effort for your pack, for your troop. So this is kind of our little checklist, the things we're looking for out of you guys. You're going to be the leader within your unit. You're going to be the one that confirms participation. We want every pack troop that participates to register through our website. We'll have that link at the end. If you guys haven't yet, maybe Tammy could even throw that in the chat for me. We have about 150 packs and troops signed up already, which is phenomenal. We want you guys to be the cheerleader in your unit, get our scouts prepared, get them excited to go out and participate in this really great service project. Collaborate with your local pantry. Just so you guys know, at the council level, we sent out, a letter notifying all of our pantries that we've worked with in the previous years that, the food drive is coming up. They're aware of it. What we're asking you guys to do, if there's one that you work with in your community, reach out, just check in with them, let them know, hey, that we're going to be dropping off food on April 27th, and just to make sure that they're prepared, they're ready to receive those donations. I know a lot of our scout units work really closely with the pantries in their community. Just make sure you're doing that, just so everybody's on the same page. Provide maps of the units assigned territory and give assignments to scouts. So this one we're gonna leave this to our district scouting for food chairs. They're the ones that I'm really relying on to make those assignments. In some of our smaller communities where there's just, one pack, one troop, you guys probably have a map that you've been using for years. Just continue to use that. Just make sure you provide those for your specific units. If you guys are doing the soliciting at the grocery stores, just make sure you're working with your parents and your leaders and your scouts there to organize that. For bags that you guys are going to need, make sure you communicate that number with your district team. You can just shoot them an email with the amount. We have our bags in-house, so we can work on getting those to you. Each district is going to distribute those bags a little bit differently. Some will have them available at the district roundtables coming up here in April. Some will be, having them out of the Center for Scouting in Appleton. It just depends on the specific district, but those folks will be able to point you in the right direction, how to get your bags. You just need to provide the number that you're going to need to cover your area. All right. You will, lead your unit on collection day, and then make sure that food gets to your assigned collection point or food pantry. And then making sure that you're reporting your results to your district scouting for food team. And we're going to have a nice tool for you guys to do that, so it's real easy. Marketing and promotions. These are just some of the things that our district team has been working on, and we're getting these out in the community just to spread awareness about the food drive. We have a number of posters that'll be going out. Our district team is putting those out in high traffic areas. Collection bins. Every single festival food store in our council will have a collection bin. So we have 15 designated for all those stores. We are going to be doing some radio ads here with WIXX and a couple other stations throughout the council. WLUK Fox 11 is donating some coverage as well. They're going to run some TV ads and then do an interview with us. And that's a pretty large portion of our council, their market. And then we have some press releases that are going out, and we'll be doing some social media posts as well that you as a unit leader can piggyback on, share that out, and just help spread the word organically. Right. All right, so let's walk through what this first day, that April 20th, that distribution day, is going to look like for you guys as a unit coordinator. You guys will obviously have your bags ready to go. You're going to meet at your assembly location. So you're going to designate where you want your scouts, your leaders, your parents, everyone that's helping to meet you that morning or that day. You guys are going to make sure that your scouts, when they're out, canvassing the area, they're working in groups of 2 or more, using the buddy system. That's just something that we always preach in scouting. We never want anyone wandering off alone. Want to keep our scouts safe. Have enough vehicles for the number of scouts participating and the area to be covered. We don't want to just let the kids, like I said, just go off and tell them to come back after they're done. We want to make sure that there's adults out following, monitoring, making sure that they're being safe. Use extreme caution when you're crossing the street. Only use crosswalks. Use driveways, sidewalks. We don't want to be walking through people's lawns, through flower beds, things like that, because that's just going to leave a bad taste in the community's mouth. So we want to avoid that. Make sure that the scouts are placing the bags on the doorknobs of the people's houses or within like their storm doors, screen doors. We don't want anything tied just placing them simply around the doorknob. So that's something that you guys can work with your scouts beforehand. Just, have them practice. Maybe the meeting or two before be a good idea. This is a big one too. If there's certain houses you guys will see in the community say, do not solicit or no solicitation, make sure we avoid those. Fortunately, in the past, we've had some bad experiences there. We just want to avoid that. If they're outwardly expressing that they don't want to be solicited, let's just move on. All right, do not place bags in mailboxes or on the mailbox flag. Again, just stick to the door. We always get calls each year, it seems, from the Postal Service that someone, tied a bag up, put one in the mailbox. It's illegal. The post office will remove it, and then we'll, get the nasty call at the council office. We just want to avoid that, guys, and make sure we're doing the right thing there. Making sure if you're assigned an area of your community that you are covering, the entire area to the best of your ability. Let's just use that Cub Scout motto there and do our best. Let's make sure, again, I mentioned this earlier, make sure we're practicing, having our scouts practice, put the bags on, especially if they're Cub Scouts, guys. Let's make sure they know how to do it. Let's have them practice beforehand. Again, vehicles staying as close to scouts as possible. Important for adults to be on the streets with the scouts. I mean, just some really, really common sense things. This is one too that sometimes gets missed. But let's remind our scouts, let's wear our uniforms. Let's be out, because this is a really great way that we can be visible in the community and show everyone, hey, look, it's the scouts, they're out and they're making an impact. All right, so that's distribution day. Let's get into what the food collection day will look like on April 27th, just from the unit's perspective. Again, you're going to meet somewhere in your community. It might be your meeting space, might be parking lot. You guys are going to determine that. What's best. Start collecting food donations after 9 a.m. We want to give the people enough time to get their donations out on the doorstep. We advertise that they have them out by 8. Let's just give them a little bit of a buffer, give them a little more time. That way we can kind of avoid the, hey, you missed my bag, and then we get the call. That's a little less follow-up we have to do after. Plan to finish no later than 11:30 a.m. so you can get your donations to your pantry in time. We just don't want to be out there all day on the 27th collecting food. We want to be in that tight window. Cover all the houses in the same area in which the bags were distributed. And then, it's pretty helpful too. I think having someone, usually if you have a leader or a parent, can come and make a second pass a little later after you guys make your first wave. Because again, some folks are a little late in getting that food out. If you designate one person from your unit to maybe go back and just do a quick drive through and grab any extra food, that's helpful. Continue again, remind the scouts to be courteous. They're not yelling. There's no horseplay. They're staying on sidewalks. Really a lot of the same things we hit on distribution day. Now, if you guys are working together with another scouting unit in your community, say, you were the pack in town, you guys handed out the bags on the 20th, and the troop is going in on the 27th to collect the food. Let's just make sure that they know the areas you were in, make sure they have the same map as you guys, the territories known, just so they're covering that same area. I think that's kind of sometimes we run into a little bit of trouble when that's not communicated the best and we have some areas that are missed. But again, it happens. We're not expecting the scouts to be perfect. We know some bags will be missed, but just, again, do your best. All right. Deliver your food to your collection agency. So your food pantry or your collection site in the time window you're looking at there. Pretty commonly, it's going to be between 10:30 and noon. Is typically going to be the time frame for most districts there. Check with your district team if if that window looks a little different, but that's the general time frame that we're looking at across the council. So at your pantries and your collection sites, there's going to be volunteers from those groups on hand collecting the food. They're going to need some help unloading. They're going to need some help maybe boxing up the donations. Just be prepared to help out there and jump in. It's just a good way there too. And make sure to take some pictures and then share them with your district team. That's stuff too that we'd like to see, and we can share that for future food drives and promoting it in the future as well. All right. Mentioned reporting. So this is going to be our way that we're going to ask you guys to report to us after you've collected the food. So there's a QR code here. We're going to have this shared out. We're going to have the link on our Scouting for Food website on the Bay Lakes Council page, which we'll get to here on the last resource slide. We'll send this out in a number of different ways so you guys have it. We're going to have these QR codes at our collection sites day of as well. So it's easy. You can just scan your phone, enter it in. We're going to ask a contact person. We're going to have you list your unit number and type. So, with my units, I'll be typing in pack 3880. We will ask you guys how much food was collected. So depending on your collection site, some pantries are going to weigh the food for you. You can report the weight. That's perfect. Some will have you take a count of the food items. You can do that too. I'll take either number. So if it's weight or number of items collected, but that's what we're looking for there. We're also going to look for number of adults and number of youth that have participated from your unit. And we're going to ask how many hours were put into the project cumulatively between all of your participants. So if I had, 10 people from my pack participate, we spent 2 hours, we would have 20 hours total in as our group. And then we're going to use your number of youth that you report to order patches for your unit. So we'll use that number to get that for you. All right. So these are a couple resources that we have together. We're going to be adding a couple things yet to our Scouting for Food page on the Bay Lakes BSA website. Guide to Safe Scouting. I think that's something helpful just to take a peek at, making sure that we're following those guidelines as we're out, canvassing the community, collecting food. If there's anything you have a question on, if you should or shouldn't do it, you can find it definitely in the Guide to Safe Scouting. I have a general safety guidelines document that will be added to the council website, the baylakesbsa.org/scouting for food page tomorrow. And then if you guys are curious about what pantries have participated in the past, I also have a link to our pantry list. So that's going to list all the pantries within our council that have been notified about the food drive and have said that they're willing to receive food. All right. All right, guys. Well, that's the content that I wanted to cover tonight. I'm gonna open up to Tammy, who was moderating the chat. If there's anything that we need to go into a little more detail here before we wrap up.
Sure, Chris. So it's been asked, I don't know, 5 or 6 times now. We just to confirm, just for everybody, we are going back to bags. It's not door hangers. We are going back to bags. That was by popular demand. The counts, that we need for reporting. They don't necessarily need to be sent on the 27th. It'd be okay to wait a couple days and do that on Monday. Definitely make sure that when you're picking up food that you don't accidentally pick up somebody's DoorDash delivery or their any food delivery. We don't want any hangry people calling the office for us. One second. Chris, this one is specifically for you. The festival food stores, I don't have that list in front of me. Does that include the hometown stores? We're specifically looking at Thompson's County Market, the Hometown Festival in Oconto. I don't think that one was on the list.
So those two, I was told just from our rep at Festival not to include this year, but you guys can still make an ask to that manager at that specific store if you want to do a collection there. I think they would still be on board. They just weren't included in our list of 15 where they're going to have the display boards in the store that's going to, put our scouting for food flyers and the things we're looking for and just do a couple of the extra promotional things. But I think they would still, from at least from my conversations with them, they would still be willing to have scouts there collecting food. They just didn't include them in the list for this year for some reason.
Okay, and then the last thing is that somebody asked if they can distribute bags prior to April 20th. But I said yes, but we would not recommend you do it much further in advance of that. People tend to forget when the bags are sitting out there. I mean, even a week can sometimes be kind of long. And we're promoting that the bags are going out on April 20th.
Yeah, and I get it. Sometimes, I know I've had units, they're not able to get them out until Sunday. Sometimes they go even a day earlier. The one thing, if you're getting them out early, if it's during the week, don't go too late into the evening. We've had some issues there with units going just pushing a little too close to dark, and you just don't want people, our scouts approaching people's houses, where it's getting kind of dark, and we've just had some issues in the past. We'd like to avoid that. But we're flexible if you need to get them out on Sunday, you got something else going on. We can be flexible. We just want to do our best to get as close to the 20th because that's what we're advertising.
And then just a reminder, because it has come up multiple times in the chat, contact your chair, your Scouting for Food chair in your area to find out when and how to get your bags and where your food drop location is.
Yes, that's correct. Yep. If you can contact those folks, they'll give you the specific details for your community.
Another question with reporting, can there be multiple reports or do we need to come up with a grand total to report? So like if one unit, they have multiple people out, can they put multiple reports in? I think it's probably best to do one because you're going to multiply by kids and things like that then.
I would echo that if we could, get one report from each unit.
Can they put a flyer or sticker in the bag to recruit for the pack and or troop in their area?
Hey, I don't see why not. If you guys want to go that extra step and use it as a recruitment in your area, that would be fine.
Okay, the chat is quiet at this point.
Okay. I'll just go back to because I know I as I was going through the slides, I realized I had the typo. I didn't change the door hanger to bags, but we are really excited to be going back to bags this year. There was a very generous donor within the council, anonymous donor, that was really passionate about Scouting for Food and wanted to see it continue. And was willing to front the cost of the bags. So this was a connection we made through just through our committee, and it's just been a big blessing for the council. We didn't have to use any of our funds for the bags. It was totally covered. So we're really excited to be going back to that this year. And And if you guys have leftovers, this is a big thing to feel free to leave those with your pantries in your community. After talking to Craig with Paul's Pantry, he's like, yeah, we can use those bags. If there's any leftovers, we'll take them. So feel free if you guys have some leftover in your box after the distribution, feel free to hand those over to the pantry. They can definitely utilize them. So at least they're going to a good cause as well. All right. Well, I think we pretty much covered everything. Again, any other questions, feel free to reach out directly to me or your district team for more of those local details. But I'd like to thank you guys again for joining us tonight, and thank you for getting your pack, your troop, your crew, your post involved with this really important food drive. We're really going to make an impact this year, and I'm really excited to see our scouts out here at the end of April.